Jane Wyman spent decades surrounded by some of the most admired men in Hollywood history. As one of the most respected actresses of the Golden Age, she shared the screen with leading men who defined entire generations of cinema. But unlike many stars who focused solely on physical appearance, Wyman seemed drawn to something deeper. She admired men whose looks were enhanced by confidence, character, talent, and an unmistakable screen presence. Throughout her career, she occasionally spoke about actors she found especially attractive, not just because of their faces, but because of the unique qualities they brought to the screen. Looking back at the stars who dominated Hollywood during her lifetime, there were 7 men who perfectly embodied the kind of masculine charm Jane Wyman admired most. 1. Cary Grant. The definition of effortless charm. If Hollywood ever produced the perfect leading man, many would argue it was Cary Grant. To Jane Wyman, Grant represented a rare combination of sophistication, elegance, and natural charisma that few actors could ever match. He wasn't merely handsome in the traditional sense. What made Grant special was the ease with which he carried himself. Whether he was starring a romantic comedy, a suspense thriller, or a dramatic role, Grant possessed a confidence that never felt forced. He could walk into a scene and instantly command attention without raising his voice or demanding focus. His charm seemed effortless, and that quality fascinated both audiences and fellow actors alike. Wyman reportedly admired the way Grant aged gracefully as well. Unlike many stars who fought desperately against growing older, Grant seemed to become more distinguished with each passing year. His silver hair, relaxed confidence, and gentlemanly manner only enhanced his appeal. For Jane Wyman, Cary Grant wasn't simply handsome. He represented timeless class, the kind of man whose appeal never depended on trends or fashion. 2. Gregory Peck, strength and integrity. While some actors relied on charm, Gregory Peck projected something different entirely. He possessed a quiet strength that made audiences trust him almost instantly. Standing tall, with striking features and a commanding voice, Peck became one of Hollywood's most respected leading men. Jane Wyman admired how his appearance seemed perfectly matched to his personality. On screen and off screen, Peck carried himself with dignity and integrity. Whether playing heroic characters or complex dramatic figures, he projected a sense of moral certainty that audiences found reassuring. His deep voice, strong jawline, and calm demeanor created an image of classic masculinity without arrogance. Unlike some stars who cultivated mystery or danger, Peck's appeal came from stability and confidence. To Wyman, Gregory Peck represented the rare man whose inner qualities enhanced his physical attractiveness. His handsomeness wasn't simply about appearance, it was about character. 3. Tyrone Power, Hollywood's ultimate heartthrob. Few men in Hollywood history generated as much admiration for their looks as Tyrone Power. During the 1930s and 1940s, his appearance became almost legendary. Women across America filled theaters just to watch him on screen. Jane Wyman understood exactly why. Power possessed the kind of facial symmetry and classic good looks that seemed almost unreal. His dark hair, expressive eyes, and refined features made him one of the most photographed actors of his era. Yet what impressed Wyman wasn't simply his appearance. She admired the way Power worked to become a serious actor despite being labeled a pretty face early in his career. Many handsome stars became trapped by their image, but Power continually sought challenging roles that allowed him to prove his talent. For Wyman, that determination added depth to his attractiveness. He wasn't content being admired. He wanted to be respected. That combination of beauty and ambition made him unforgettable. 4. Clark Gable, the power of confidence. Clark Gable never looked like a traditional matinee idol, and that was precisely what made him so appealing. His ears were slightly large. His smile was imperfect. His features lacked the polished perfection associated with many leading men. Yet none of that mattered. Gable possessed something far more powerful: confidence. Jane Wyman reportedly admired men who understood exactly who they were, and few actors embodied self-assurance more completely than Clark Gable. Whether starring opposite Vivian Leigh or commanding the screen in adventure films, Gable radiated confidence without appearing arrogant. His appeal came from authenticity. He never seemed to be pretending to be a movie star. He simply was one. Audiences believed him because he believed in himself. That certainty transformed ordinary physical features into extraordinary charisma. For Wyman, Gable proved that true handsomeness often comes from personality rather than perfection. 5. William Holden, the all-American ideal. Among the stars of post-war Hollywood, William Holden stood out as one of the most naturally attractive men in the industry. His rugged good looks, relaxed demeanor, and easygoing confidence made him immensely popular with audiences. Jane Wyman appreciated Holden's ability to appear both approachable and sophisticated at the same time. Unlike actors who seemed larger than life, Holden felt relatable. He looked like someone audiences could actually know, which made his appeal even stronger. As his career evolved, Holden developed a more mature, weathered appearance that only increased his attractiveness. The youthful heartthrob eventually became a distinguished leading man whose face reflected both success and experience. Wyman admired that transformation. She believed some men became more handsome with age, and Holden was a perfect example. His appeal wasn't frozen in youth. It evolved naturally over time. 6. Rock Hudson, the gentle giant. At 6 feet 5 inches tall, Rock Hudson was impossible to ignore. His physical presence alone made him one of Hollywood's most striking stars. Combined with his dark hair, broad shoulders, and warm smile, he quickly became one of the industry's biggest heartthrobs. But Jane Wyman admired something beyond the obvious. Hudson possessed a gentleness that contrasted with his imposing appearance. While many actors projected toughness or intensity, Hudson often seemed warm, approachable, and kind. That balance fascinated audiences and colleagues alike. His chemistry with leading ladies became legendary because he made romance look effortless. He wasn't intimidating despite his size. Instead, he projected comfort and sincerity. For Wyman, Hudson demonstrated that masculinity didn't require aggression. Strength and kindness could coexist, making a man even more attractive. His popularity endured for decades because people genuinely enjoyed being around him, both on screen and off. 7. Ronald Reagan, the boyish charmer. Before becoming governor of California and eventually president of the United States, Ronald Reagan was one of Hollywood's most recognizable leading men. And unlike many actors who relied solely on looks, Reagan's appeal came from his personality as much as his appearance. Jane Wyman knew him better than anyone on this list because he was once her husband. Long before politics entered the picture, Reagan was known throughout Hollywood for his bright smile, athletic build, and friendly demeanor. He possessed an easy charm that immediately put people at ease. What made Reagan especially attractive in Wyman's eyes was his optimism. He approached life with enthusiasm and confidence, qualities that naturally drew people toward him. Even after their marriage ended, Wyman rarely spoke negatively about Reagan's personal character. Their relationship may not have lasted, but she always acknowledged the qualities that made him appealing in the first place.